of the work that we used to do. And my regular response is that we have to change our idea of work, and we also have to change our idea of value. What's really happening is as we clock information from every single interaction that we have, every movement that we experience in physical space, it's affecting some decision process. It's affecting some robot. It's affecting how we automate the world around us. And we should be acknowledged as valuable in that regard. And it's different than work. You know, our influence, our value, our input is quite different than work. And that's where, you know, we kind of landed on personal data as an asset class. I believe it was about 2010, right after the first big data conference that I attended, that the World Economic Forum published a paper that called personal data the new asset class. And we see it as an asset class, something that can be securitized and traded and valued in all sorts of ways per the same market structure that we use to distribute value to identifiable institutions, whether that be, you know, on a stock exchange or some other sort of debt market or currency market, or you name it. Personal data just happens to be the most micro evidence of value that we can transact. So I think the future is more about transactions than it is about work in the old sense of the word. But none of this technological stuff is really, I think, at the core of my concern, or the core of most people's concerns. When they address their fears, they're worried about becoming obsolete. And Europeans are by far eons ahead of the rest of the world, especially with this new legislation called the GDPR. The General Data Protection Regulation is a vast sweeping thing, but really it does two things. It establishes cybersecurity, you know, compliance priorities, and that's fine. Companies will do their best, or they won't, and they'll be retaliated against for compliance. But the other thing that the GDPR does is it establishes where value comes from, and it gives individuals or these influencers some agency over their input. And in my opinion, that's the really important thing. And it does this in a pervasive way. There are about 11 articles in the 99 or so article GDPR that elaborate on how employers interact with individuals' information. The majority of my work these days is outside of my portfolio of fintech